check the audio for me. That way we know if we're good, but I'm going to go ahead and get rolling. All right, guys, we are going to continue our business / finance / freedom, / multiplication teaching. Last week, Brent and Isabel did it. They released their first piece, first of session one of we believe it's going to be 3 sessions, and their next session will be, I believe it's going to be Wednesday, February the 2nd, if my memory serves me correctly. If that's not a Wednesday, it's not that day. So it should be Wednesday, February the 2nd. And then if nothing changes, then on Wednesday, February the 9th, will be Chad and Bonnie coming in and giving a piece to this. And tonight I'm going to give a piece to this and see what the Lord is molding. And as we've already mentioned, we're not doing this for anybody. Last week Brent and Isabel, they were talking about their metal roofing company. If you need a new roof, 1-800-NEW-ROOF, proud sponsor of Kingdom Culture. If you need a new roof, but it wasn't one of those things where, hey, we want somebody to come in here and get inspired to start a metal roofing company. If that's what God's speaking to you, that's fine, and that's awesome. But what I want to encourage you with is we're wanting to put. We've already said this. We just want to reiterate this. We're wanting to put tools in your tool bag here and give you more equipment on multiplying and to become a multiplier. And we're wanting you to hear from successful. This isn't from, some article that you read on whatever news outlet or whatever it is. This is people of Kingdom Culture, and you're hearing success stories of things that they have accomplished and God has lavished on their life and done in their life over the years and what God's done in them. So the idea is hearing from multiple people and yes, I want you to be inspired, but not necessarily to become a parrot of what you saw here, but to be a parrot of multiplication. Does that make sense? I don't need you to go start this and that's fine. If God's saying start a roofing company, then so be it. If God's telling you to, but I want this to inspire and let the wind of heaven blow on the witty invention that's in you, blow on the imagination that is in you, because God gifted you with that imagination. He gifted you with that imagination, as crazy as it may be. He gifted you with that imagination, and so we want you to just surrender that to God and let Him speak to you. So in starting my, and I'm going to open this up later if you questions and answers, and even, I don't know if it may be hard, but if Tasha's still around back there at the back or something, or maybe have some, maybe even online do Q&A or whatever. This should just be going live out to our Kingdom Culture group only. So here we go. Matthew 25. I'm going to Matthew 25 and talking from this. This is going to be one of the bases that I want to come from. Matthew 25:14. Again, heaven's kingdom realm is like the wealthy man who went on a long journey and summoned all his trusted servants and assigned his financial management over to them. Before he left on his journey, he entrusted a bag of 5,000 gold coins to one of his servants. Your translation may say 5 talents. It's hard to determine exactly what a talent is. A talent's very valuable, but we don't know, what it's talking of money value, monetary value. To another, a bag of 2,000 gold coins, and to the third, a bag of 1,000 gold coins, each according to his ability to manage. Each according to his ability to manage. All right. So again, hard to determine how much a talent is. We don't know the exact We might not know how much one talent exactly represents, but it is a measure of weight of monetary value. We do know that King Solomon received, and this is interesting, he received 666 talents of gold in his yearly tribute. So it's very clear if Solomon's getting 666 for a yearly tribute, then a talent is probably worth a significant amount of money. And this translation, I'm reading now the Passion Translation, translates it into gold coins. So 5,000 gold coins, 2,000 gold coins, and 1,000 gold coins. Verse 16, the one entrusted with 5,000 gold coins immediately went out and traded with the money, and he doubled his investment. In the same way, the one who was entrusted with 2,000 gold coins traded with the sum and likewise doubled his investment. But the one who had been entrusted with 1,000 gold coins dug a hole in the ground and buried his master's money. After much time had passed, the master returned to settle accounts with his servants. The one who was entrusted with 5,000 gold coins came and brought 10,000, saying, "See, I've doubled your money." Commending his servant, the master replied, "You've done well and proven yourself to be my loyal and trustworthy servant. Because you've been faithful to steward and manage a small sum, now I'll put you in charge of much, much more. You will experience the delight of your master, who will say to you, 'Come celebrate with me.'" The one who had been entrusted with 2,000 gold coins came in and said, "See, my master, I have doubled what you have entrusted to me." Commending his servant, the master replied, "You have done well and proven yourself to be my loyal and trustworthy servant. Because you were faithful to manage a small sum, now I'll put you in charge of much, much more. You will experience the delight of your master, who will say to you, 'Come celebrate with me.'" Then the one who had been trusted with 1,000 gold coins came to his master and said, "Look, sir, I know that you are a hard man to please, and you are a shrewd and ruthless businessman who grows rich on the backs of others. I was afraid of you, so I went and hid your money and buried it in the ground. But here it is. Take it. It's yours." Angered by what he heard, the master said to him, "You're an untrustworthy and lazy servant. If you knew I was a shrewd and ruthless businessman who always makes a profit, why didn't you deposit my money in the bank? Then I would have received it all back with interest when I return. But because you were unfaithful, I will take the 1,000 gold coins and give it to him who has 10,000. For the one who has will be given more until he overflows with abundance. And the one who with hardly anything, even what little he has, will be taken from him." Then the master said to the other servants, "Now throw the good-for-nothing servant far away from me into outer darkness, where there will be great misery and anguish." The end. Well, that's frightening. So it's real interesting because the guy with 5 talents, 5,000 gold coins, 2 talents, 2,000 gold coins, they both came back and said, I've went and made 5 more. I went and made 2 more. What you don't want to miss here, they were 100% faithful. That's the same. They both returned 100-fold. Now, I know one ended up with 10 and one ended up with 4, but they both returned 100-fold according to their ability to manage, is how they were even delegated this. So to whom, you've heard the scripture, to whom much is given, much is required. So what God has placed on your life will then determine the demand. Everybody has a demand on their life to multiply, but he's not asking the guy with 2 talents in your life to go make 25 more talents. What has he given you? And whatever he has given you, the demand is multiplication of what he's given you. Okay? Are you following me? So I want to point out a couple things here of what's happening, and I'll try to not take 2 hours to do this. The one that he entrusted 5,000 gold coins immediately went out. So there's something that he did. The one that had 5,000 gold coins went and made 5,000 more gold coins, but before he could go multiply, he had to do something. He had to went. Okay? So I want to point that out because he immediately went out. When the Father put a gifting on his life, he immediately went out and he was starting to multiply that. Okay, he was immediately starting to multiply that. And it's a real interesting thing because a lot of people, they're wanting to multiply, but they don't went, they set. And they think that they're going to multiply because they're sitting here and, well, I've done this, so now God's given me this, so it's just going to multiply. And you're praying for multiplication, but you're sitting there waiting on multiplication. These guys did not sit and wait on multiplication, but they went and multiplied. So you have to went. All right, you have to go. You have to go ye, so to speak. And I felt like the Father was speaking something to me even earlier today. And it's a police term called BOLO, and it's when if you watch enough police shows, and if you don't, I encourage you to watch more police shows, and you'll hear this term. Did they put the BOLO out? And which means be on the lookout. Is there a BOLO out on that vehicle? Be on the lookout for, this SUV. Be on the lookout for this suspected person. Be on the lookout for whatever. And so I felt the Lord was saying BOLO to me. In relaying this to you, what tools could I give you to help you in the arena of multiplication? And I felt like one of the key things that Yahweh was saying was BOLO, be on the lookout. How are you going to multiply if you're not going out and being on the lookout? You're just praying, going down the road. You are praying. You're praying for multiplication to happen while you're passing by 6 things for sale that you could flip for money. Okay, I'm just throwing that out there. You're be on the lookout in everywhere that you go. Be on the lookout. All right, so let me give it to you like this in personal stories in my life. Let's do it this way. Watch for patterns. That's been big for me. Watching for patterns. Doesn't matter if it's a stock market. It doesn't matter. You've heard this statement before. History repeats itself. You know what I mean? So you want to know, and even the scripture. In the last days, it'll be as it was in the days of Noah. Well, that's some of the first days. What's Yahweh saying? Hey, what goes around comes around. What you reap what you sow. What you're seeing, what you've seen in the now let me help you with this. Don't stare at your crazy past and saying, oh, that's going to happen again to me in my future. No, you can elevate your perspective, and that'll never happen to you again. Okay? What, fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice. Or fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. All right? So don't let yesterday beat you twice. But you can look at the history and find patterns in yesterday. A lot of times when you're talking in terms of markets, okay, can you handle this? And I'll go down through here in just a minute. When you're talking in terms of markets, this is what people like, oh, I don't want to invest in that. The market's going to crash. Probably. What justifies a crash? How much does it have to pull back before you call it a crash? Did it crash in 2020, or was it a really big pullback? Listen, if the Great Depression number 2 happened again and the market crashed, then that means, guess what? It's going to come out of it. It came out of it in the first Great Depression. You can look all the way back to the beginning of the market and you'll find a pattern. It dipped, it pulled back, it crashed, but it always recovered. And it always went back up. Okay? I want you to follow this line of thinking. Follow the bouncing ball in this. So as it'll be in the last days, you can look as it was in the days of Noah. So I want to give you this. Watch for patterns. That's been big in my life. Not just in picking stocks, but that's been big in my life, watching for patterns. All right? Let me get, I know you're going to think this is dumb, but this is just something that I've done. All right? PlayStation, I'm going to talk PlayStation, all right? So PlayStation 2 came out. I don't even remember the year. I want to say it was 2001. Somebody will have to fact check me on that. But around 2001, PlayStation 2 came out, and I was hearing the stories. People were like camping in tents, like at Best Buy and Walmart, whatever, so that they could get their hands on the coveted PlayStation 2. And they were buying them. I personally know people, they bought them. My brother-in-law, actually being one of those, bought one like $300-ish was what they were going for off the shelf at Walmart. Then you could sell it on eBay for like $700. So because people couldn't get their hands on one. And so they'll pay more for what they could. This is supply and demand, okay? So they were buying them here off the shelf at Walmart and then selling them on eBay or online, whatever. And so that was the pattern. Guess what? PlayStation 3's coming out. I see this thing. There's a pattern here. I hear some of the same reports, all right? By the time it gets to PlayStation 4, I'm no dummy. I'm going to pick up on this, okay? So what did I do? At this time, I have more money in my life, and so I go to Best Buy, and I personally wanted one, and so I bought two of them. Bought two PlayStation 4s, all right? Because the system is set up for you to win, by the way. So they usually launch these consoles in November of that year, because Christmas is coming up in December. This is how the market works. So they launch these things in October, November of the year, and so I went and I pre-ordered two of them like back in June. And then I go there to Best Buy. I don't have to wait in line to get mine because when they release it like at midnight or whatever, then you already pre-ordered two. So I take my two, and guess what? I take one home. I wanted to keep one. The other one, I do not open. I do not open because here's my thinking. I'm going to sell this online. And if I can't, there's absolutely no risk. You know why? Money back. I didn't open the thing. I decided I didn't want this. I can take it right back to Best Buy. And so I'm using theirs, and I'm out $0, okay? So the long and short of that is, hey, I sold this, made $150 on it, something like that. I don't know. I bought it. I was in like at $430 after tax. I think I sold it on eBay for like $525, somewhere in there. A little bit later in the year, not much later, but before Christmas, I go into GameStop. And they're pulling out a PlayStation. Somebody there bought a PlayStation 4. I was like, holy cow, I can't even believe you even have any. And I was like, I can't believe you have any. They're so hard to get. And he's like, yeah, I know. I said, do you got any more? He said, yeah, we just got that truck in this morning, the shipment in. I said, how many more you got? He said, I got two. I said, go get them. And I bought them two as well. And then I've done the same thing, stuck it on eBay. And I sold all three of them. I end up basically getting one for free. Okay, because I wanted one. So basically I sold three and I paid for one. You don't have to put this in PlayStation world. This will work with toilets as well, okay? If you want a toilet, if you will buy 4 of them and you'll sell 3 of them, then the 3 you sold will probably pay for. Check. We're back. If you're watching online, you didn't miss anything. The batteries went dead, and I stopped talking. I don't even know if anybody's watching. I'm just assuming there's people watching online because they asked if we're recording this. So hopefully I wasn't talking to nobody. Bolo, be on the lookout, all right? Always be on the lookout for things. Another example, okay? I told you PlayStations. Another example. Not expecting to do this, but yet here I am getting my oil changed at Walmart in Fayetteville on Mall Avenue. I believe it was in December of 18. December of 18. And they had ran a special on Black Friday on car stereo systems. Okay? Ran a special on Black Friday on car stereo systems. And so they had a bunch of them left over because not everybody on Black Friday apparently wanted the car stereo system. They ran a good deal on it. I don't know what the deal was, but I do know it's approximately a $75 stereo. All right, so they have a pile of them sitting there. This is a couple weeks after Black Friday, between Black Friday and Christmas. And I'm getting my oil changed, and somebody comes in, and they're looking for a stereo. They're like, hey, we got these left over from Black Friday. He said, well, how much? And they're like, we clearanced them out. We just need to get rid of them. They're $11 for one. I'm like, what in the world, man? And they had 11 left. I'm not there to buy a stereo. I am there to get my oil changed, but I happen to be sitting in the waiting room when this conversation is taking place. And that guy bought like 5 of them, and I went and got the other 6. And I took them home, and I set them in the room, And then I started moving them on Facebook Marketplace and on eBay. And yes, I mean, I had $11 a piece in them, and I was selling them for $50 and $60 without any problems because they're $75 at Walmart. And so it was that was easy. It's not a lot of money. I'm just saying I just happened to be in this place at this moment. Be on the lookout. Be on the lookout for whatever that the Lord is putting in your life, okay? So be on the lookout. Tomorrow you may pass by and you see a good deal because it is December and somebody's got a crazy good deal on a lawnmower. I don't know, all right? And just like whatever that it is, be on the lookout for things. And like, hey, that they're asking like that thing's worth $2,000 and they're only wanting to sell it for $900 because right now somebody's in a pinch and needing money. And so you can give them $900 for something that's worth $2,000 and you don't even have to sell it for $2,000. You can sell it for $1,600 and you gave somebody a good deal and you made $700. All right. So be on the lookout. You say, Josh, that's crazy. I can't do that. No, if you will be on the lookout, you will find things. Okay, I didn't go too deep in the article, but I seen an article just in the past month where people are literally going into Walmart now and they're buying things off the shelf at Walmart and then putting them on eBay and selling them. Just so you know, in like New York City, the largest city in America, there's not like Walmart Supercenter. And then in other places of the world that might be locked down and places like that, things that you might have access to here that somewhere else in the world doesn't have access to, that you can just go do that and flip it and make money on it. You need to, I'm telling you, do your own research and go on there and look, but I'm just saying there's money-making opportunities that are around you. I know this is small time and this is like a little bit of money and a little bit here and a little bit there, but I'm saying there's a principle to this because almost anybody that you've ever read about that is wealthy, if you're talking about Warren Buffett, if you're talking about John Templeton, whoever that you're wanting to talk about in especially in U.S. history, people that you're talking about that accumulated wealth, they most likely, I'm not saying that it cannot be done, I'm saying most likely they did not accumulate wealth because they clocked in somewhere for 40 hours a week. They were buying and selling stuff. Buying and selling stuff is making money. That's how people make money. Now, can you quit your day job and do that? No. How you're going to, this brings in another stream of revenue of saying this is what I'm wanting to put tools of multiplication in your hand to give you another access to another stream of revenue. What do you know? Well, I don't know. I don't know about car stereos. I didn't either, but I knew that they're worth $75. I can buy them for $11 a piece. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Another time, little thing that Walmart does, all right? They have something called the final markdowns, all right? And I watch for them. Here we are, coming in January right now. February's about to hit. They move their muzzle loaders, which aren't considered firearms, they're black powder rifles. And so a lot of times, I think they've actually switched this up because they may have caught on, I don't know. But they actually did not put them in the glass case with the shotguns and the rifles. They would put them in a separate little open case that just had a lock over it. And so come the end of season, they have to shift all this stuff out, but it's coming around again the next season, but they don't have room for it and they're not going to store it. And Walmart can just keep their head up and it's okay. We'll just put it back out the next season. And so I go to the Walmart in Rogers and I was like, can you call me? I gave him my phone number, said, can you call me when they hit the final markdown? He calls me, said, hey, hit the final markdown today. Went up there. They had 9 muzzle loaders left. I bought every one of them. I paid like $40 for some of them. The most expensive one I bought was $84, and it was a $400 muzzleloader, and I paid $84 for it. Just be on the lookout. So I bought 9 of them for like $650. Okay, be on the lookout. Even if you don't feel like you're ready yet, just be on the lookout. There could be, and like I know maybe that's why I don't really know. Listen. You're like, that's too manly, I don't know. Look, who knows? Maybe you know cosmetics and nail care. I don't know. But just be on the lookout. Hey, this thing is happening. This, like, I went into, I don't know. Just you went into Maurice's and you know that they put this sale on there and you can buy that shirt on sale for 40% off and then you can sell it to somebody on eBay in New York for exactly what 100% retail. I don't know. You can find a niche. Just be on the lookout. Be on the lookout for those types of things, and be on the lookout for ways that God can bless you, and trust that you're walking in favor. So those are some personal stories of some things that happened. I'm going to get a little deeper in there because there's a lot more money to be made than $60 on a stereo. But you got to start somewhere. Be on the lookout. Be on the lookout for other ways to increase and other streams of revenue of ways that you can do things, because it does have the ability to multiply. I've got an uncle that sells lawnmowers. He buys used lawnmowers and then he'll fix them and sell them, or buy them and clean them up and sell them, whatever. And like moves like major, like potentially couple hundred lawnmowers a year. Sells them, buys them and sells them, to the point where the dealerships now in the River Valley area will call him and say, hey, Bill, what will you give us for this? While this person's trading in the lawnmower, they ask Bill what he said, it's worth this much, but he goes, I'll give you this much. And then they'll trade in for them and they'll send it to him. Say, come and get it. And then he'll buy them 4 and 5 at a time. Or 10, whatever they got. And then he'll flip those and do it like an entire stream of revenue, okay? I'm not telling you that, hey, you're going to make $1 million a year doing this. I don't know how to fix lawnmowers. That's not the point. It's another stream of revenue that has the potential to bring in. I'm guessing here, but I'm telling you right now, I don't know how much you'd want me to share on that, but I can tell you right now that it may sound fickle and it may sound dumb, but I bet you that he's making over $40,000 a year just moving lawnmowers. Now, the numbers seem a little better, don't they, than moving stereo systems. So doing something, what can I do? What can I do? I don't, I'm going to do this. And then just trusting, hey, there's favor on me, and wherever I go, I wasn't prepared to do this or whatever. Today, let me give you this one. Today, all right? Today, I go into Sam's. I went into Sam's to buy Lysol, okay? I went into Sam's to buy Lysol because we needed Lysol at the church. So I'm going to Sam's to buy Lysol. I was also told to get water while I'm there. So I'm buying Lysol and water, and of course I seen root beer, and I had to get that too. So, but then as I'm walking by, they have clearanced out the air hockey tables. I'm like, what? What is this? Like, no, this is like a legit looking air hockey table. They have one on display. It's set up. They have 3 boxes left plus the display, and they're selling the air hockey tables. And it was at Christmas. The Christmas price was $299. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it was probably $400 before they marked it down to $299 for the Christmas price. And they were selling that. They had them clearanced out, $175. I didn't go in there for an air hockey table, but I bought 2. Because I needed it. Because why? Because the night before, last night, I had Sydney and Kinsey and Aaron and Megan sitting in my living room, and we were talking about things for 2022. And one of the things that we were potentially wanting to do was buy some games for the kids' church. That was the conversation, I swear to you, last night. I go into Sam's today. Here's an air hockey table for $175. Yes, God. I'm going to be on the lookout for how you're trying to bless me. Well, you said you bought 2. I bought one for here and one for my house. Okay? I wanted one at my house because my kids got an air hockey table for Christmas from Target for like $25 less than the one I just bought, and it was a miniature. It wasn't even the same size. But after Christmas, you know what Sam's needed to do? They needed to move their air hockey tables, and they were willing to take a lesser price so that they could move some product. Okay? You can find this stuff. You can find this stuff when people are doing this. There's websites online where you can find, I'm telling you right now, I'll just Amazon will take care of all of this for you. Okay? You can buy stuff at Walmart, become a seller on Amazon. I'm just throwing out ideas, but you can go listen to this later. But there are people that are literally buying plates from people in China or wherever. They're finding a distributor in another area of the world, and they're plastic plates that are disposable that people are using at weddings because they have the fancy embroidery around them, and they'll sell them for like $25 and $30 for like a 5-pack or 4-pack on Amazon, and that's what they're going for. And then they'll say, send me 10,000 of those a month, and they have less than like $1 in them. Less than $1, and they're moving them for like $25 a plate. I'm telling you, People are doing this. I haven't done this. I'm just letting you know that, I can't handle 10,000. That's something called FBA, Fulfillment by Amazon. You can actually never even touch the product now. Used to, you had to store that stuff in your garage, but now you can actually get with the distributor and have them ship it straight to the Amazon warehouse. And then people say, I want Prime, and I want it in 2 days, and they'll buy it on Amazon. It never came to your house, and then they're sending it. Amazon is actually shipping that for you, taking care of it. I'm throwing things out there just so you know. But you got to have it takes money to make money. You have to have some capital to be able to say, send me 10,000 of those a month, because you're on the hook for, $10, $12, $15,000 per month. But you're moving product. You can't start out right there. I'm just saying, just be on the lookout for ways that God can bless me, ways that he can open up and let his favor come upon me, and finding things. Are you in the market for a vehicle? There's a little app called Auto Trader. Stick that dude on a 500-mile search, and you're like, well, I need something in Fayetteville. Dude, I'll fly to Texas. I'll drive to Texas and take a trailer and pick something up. It doesn't matter to me. If I can save $3,000 because I was willing to go out of state and get it, then I'll do it. Okay? That's me. I don't have to do that every time. But what happens? I needed a van for my business. Guess what I did? Get on Auto Trader. I find one in Tulsa, Oklahoma that looks like it didn't look good. I, in fact, cannot believe that the dealership in Tulsa, Oklahoma put it on the lot it's like they stuck it out there and they didn't wash it. I was like, what are they doing? Is there something wrong with it? And I end up buying the vehicle for significantly less. I bought it. I didn't even go look at it. I just called them. It's a certified pre-owned with 25,000 miles. Yeah, I'll take it. Just bring it to me. Just bring it to me. And I buy it roughly for about $4,000 less than I was paying for that particular van. And I did that in January of 2021, which is almost impossible to find a good deal on a vehicle in the last 24 months. There is favor that God wants to put on your life. You just need to be on the lookout and stop just asking God to multiply with your eyes closed. Ask him to multiply and be on the lookout for how he's wanting to multiply you. All right? Are you with me? Let's do this, all right? So the servant went and he multiplied. He went and he multiplied. Luke 6:38 says it like this. Let me give it to you like this. Luke 6:38. I'll just reference this. Give generously, and generous gifts will be given back to you, shaken down to make room for more. Shaken down to make room for more. Give generously, and generous gifts will be given back to you, shaken down to make room for more. Do you want to be a person of favor? Yes. If you're smart, right? Do you want to be a person that has favor on your life? 100% yes, absolutely. I want to be a person with favor on my life. Guess what? God's laws say you reap what you sow. You reap what you sow. You know what it says about somebody that has friends? If you want friends, then you got to show yourself friendly. Like, oh my God, what a revelation. If I want friends, I need to show myself friendly, and I will have friends. All because I showed myself friendly. It's almost like you reap what you sow. This is so long as the earth remains, seed time and harvest. So long as you live here, you are supposed to occupy till he comes back, because the kingdom of heaven is like a master that's very wealthy, and he's going away on a journey, and he's going to call all the trustworthy ones and saying, I'm putting these gifts on your life. Now occupy till I'm coming. And that's what he's saying in the Greek here is actually this. He says, do business as me. Do business as me until I come back. Until I come back. So if I want to do this, I need to create favor in my life. Josh, how can I create favor in my life? Everything that I'm telling you right now, I'm giving you the cherry on top of, like, I'm walking in this exponential favor that I'm telling you right now, I'm walking in favor. I started working out at the gym. Let me give you this. I started working out at the gym because my wife bought me some kind of one-day pass for Christmas, and here I am. I'm a Planet Fitness person. I went to Planet Fitness because Kenzie goes there, and I needed somebody to to go there with, because I'm not one of these that probably should be left alone with the equipment at this point, because I don't know what I'm doing yet. But Kenzie's helping me out. So I've been going to the gym. And I always tell people when they're like, oh, you're going to the gym? Yeah. And I just don't act like you can't tell that I've been going to the gym for 2 weeks now, because the results obviously speak for themselves. And so I've been going to the gym for like 2 weeks, man. I've been going to the gym for like 2 weeks. And so, and the first couple times I'm taking Kenzie's scoops of powder. I don't even know, like proteins and whatever, the BCAAs. And I don't even really know what all the amino acids and BC stands for. I don't know. So I'm like taking these powders, and I was like, oh, where do you get these? And he goes, well, I got these at Walmart, but there's some better ones at GNC store. Where's GNC? It's in Springdale. I look it up. So I go to GNC store and I go in there, and he said, get this brand. Kenzie sends me some links, and I'm going in there, and they're like, buy two, get one free. And so I called Kenzie. I was like, hey, man, they got a buy two, get one free. Should I get this other one? He said, I've never even heard of that type of sale on this stuff. And Kenzie's been doing this for probably a decade, like working out all the time for probably a decade, and or maybe beyond that. And he said, I've never seen that sale on that particular brand. Buy two, get one free. I said, well, there it is. I told Kenzie that day, I said, that's favor. I just started working out, and I come into this amazing sale. And so I bought two, get one free. And I called back because it started dawning on me. I was like, you know what? If he's never seen that sale, maybe I should go stock up on that. I called back, and the lady said the sale ends tomorrow. Kenzie goes in there the next day, sale's still on, and it's a different person at the register. And you know what they tell him? It's only on protein that you buy two, get one free. But the previous day I went in there and I bought all this other stuff. And it was just one of those weird things of not that Kenzie doesn't walk in favor. That is not the point of that story, because Kenzie walks in favor, and they were running a sale. But I'm saying, Josh, why are you in the right spot at the right time? I want to help you with this. The Lord has ordained my steps. Okay? He's ordained my steps. Josh, what if the market crashes? What if the dollar's worthless? Listen, friend, I don't care if rocks are what's of value. And I'm not talking about diamonds. I'm talking about those crap rocks out in your front yard. All right? I don't care what is of value. I am persuaded in my life, whatever is of value, I will have in my life, because the Lord has lavished favor on me. How did that happen? I created my own favor. How did I create my own favor? Josh, is this on you or is it on God? I'm giving God the glory, but stay with me. Don't think I'm arrogant yet. Don't write me off yet. Just hang on. I'm going to tell you how I created my own favor. I became a giver. Exclamation mark. That was it. You want it? Do you want more in your life? Do you want to step in abundance? Do you want to step in favor? This is how you do it. I'm not, like I told you to be on the lookout. I can tell you 100 keys. We can listen to the sharpest financial minds in all of the world, but this is God's law. Give and it will be given back to you. This is God's law. Be faithful with your tithe. Be faithful with your offering, and I'll open for you the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing that you don't have room enough to receive. That's abundance. That's what God does. How did this happen in my life? I became a giver, period. That's it. When did you become a giver? Well, I'm 36 now, so 17 years ago, December the 26th, when I was 19 years old, I was sitting in Havana, Arkansas, and I was sitting in a service, and there was an evangelist that started talking about money, and that day I decided I was going to be a giver. I already knew about tithing. I was already tithing. But that day I said, I'm not just going to be a tither, I'm going to be a giver. And I started giving. And you know what I did? I started saying yes to $5 extra in the offering, yes to $10 extra in the offering. I remember giving $25 extra in the offering, and that was a big deal. That was a big deal. Okay? But now, at this point in my life, 17 years down the road, there's so much lavish favor. What I used to call extra is just nothing now compared to what I mean, I could literally write a book 10 years to 100 times more of what God has opened up in my life of seeing, because it took approximately a decade when I was writing a check on a stage. A decade after that moment, I was about 29 years of age in January of 2015, and I was writing a check on the stage that day, and I was writing a check for 100 times more than I used to call extra. It took 10 years. So if you're looking for a get-rich-quick scheme, the kingdom's not it. But if you're looking for seed time and harvest and something that will 100%, I swear to you, will work. Can we say it like that in church? That God will swear it to you. It's in the Old Testament, but he swears, buys Levi jeans and like priestly jeans. He swears. He swears an oath to himself. I swear it to you. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. God makes an oath. This is God's law. This will work for you. I'm even persuaded it'll work for people that aren't even Christians. If you step into God's law and you get a revelation of it, it'll work for your business. It'll work for you. It'll work for you. Luke 6:38, give generously and generous gifts will be given back to you, shaken down to make room for more. Abundant gifts will pour out upon you with such an overflowing measure that it'll run over the top. Your measurement of generosity becomes the measurement of your return. Does that sound a little bit familiar? Sounds familiar like this. God will give and God will give back to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. But this translation says it's shaken down to make room for more. Abundant gifts will be poured upon you with such an overflowing measure that it will run over the top. Your measurement of generosity becomes a measurement of your return. This sounds familiar because of Malachi chapter 3, verse number 10. Bring the tithe into the storehouse. Bring the tithe into the storehouse, says the Lord of hosts, and test me. Prove me now, says the Lord of hosts, if I won't open for you the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing that you don't have room enough to receive. Malachi 3:10. Malachi 3:10 is being the very repetition of that, or it sounds very, Luke 6:38 sounds very similar to Malachi 3:10. So it's not just an Old Testament thinking, whether it is or it isn't, it's all one book, and I don't have time to argue with somebody over that. It's all one book. Nonetheless, it's all one book. But if you got some, because there are people in the world, tithing is Old Testament. Well, let me give you this. Luke 6:38. Give, and it'll be given back to you. Just like it was in Malachi 3:10, he's going to pour it out on you that you don't have room enough to receive it. But it's only going to be poured back to you based on the generosity of which you pour it out. Okay? The only place in the entire Word of God where he says to test him is in giving. In fact, Matthew chapter 4, in Jesus' conversation with the devil, he said, go Satan, you shall not put the Lord your God to the test. Because you've heard in your life, you can't test God. The only place in the entire canon of Scripture where God gives you permission to put him to the test is with your money and with your giving. Give and watch if I won't do exactly what I said I do. Watch, give to me. Open it up. Open up your wallet. Open up your heart. Let that get in your spirit, and I will open for you the windows of heaven, and I'll pour you out such an abundant blessing you don't have room enough to receive it. So you can walk in perpetual favor based on you creating your own favor. You ever heard of somebody like, I don't have luck, I create my own luck? Let me help you. Let me put this in kingdom terms for you. It is not luck. You are blessed and highly flavored. You are blessed and highly favored. You're blessed when you come in, when you go out, laying down, rising up. You are blessed. You're blessed in the field. You're blessed in the highway. You're blessed in the byway. You are blessed. This is what he's destined you to be. How do I unlock that blessing? The windows of heaven have floodgates on them. And if I'm going to open up the floodgates of heaven, I have to open up my hand and let go of what I have in the earth so that he can release what he wants me to have from the heavens. And so opening that up and going in that principle, you're not creating your own luck. You are generating your own blessing by walking in favor because you are faithful to give. You're faithful to give, all right? So let me follow, let me go along here, go back to Matthew 25 and hit some things. So to this servant, he trusted him with a sum of money, and he went and he multiplied it. God's demand on you is multiplication. This is the kingdom. The demand on you is multiplication. We got one that doubled the money. We got another that doubled the money. But then you got the third one that was fearful and afraid, and he buried a hole in the earth, and he stuck his money in the earth and covered it up. He done nothing with how God blessed him. He done nothing with what God graced him with. Guess what happens? He comes back, And he said, and everybody's like, hey, you gave me 5, I got 5 more. You gave me 2, I got 2 more. He's well done, good and faithful servant. He's saying, come celebrate with me. He's saying these things, okay? Now you got the guy with 1, and he said, why did you do this? He said, if you knew me to be a shrewd businessman, I actually love this particular passage of Scripture, and this is why. The man gets judged based on how he thought the Father was. You will live your life. There's a huge revelation right here. You will live your life. You will make decisions in your marriage. You'll make decisions in your family. You're going to make decisions in your business and your finance in the kingdom. You're going to make all your decisions based on this. Do I trust Abba? Your view of how God is, your view of how good the Father of heaven is, will determine your decisions in the earth. And this person, his viewpoint of the Father in heaven, the other guys, they knew, hey, this is a good, I've got a good master. I'm going for it, baby. I've got a good master, and he's not going to let me fail. He's ordaining my steps. If my master sends me out, my masters never send me out to fail, but he always sends me out to succeed. And they went and doubled everything that they have. But then you got this one man who knew the master. He saw him in a different light, and the religious light that he saw him in caused him to bury what God gave him in the earth, and this ticks God off. He said, I can't believe you've done this. I could have had some, you could have given me, you could have just put it in the bank and I would have at least collected interest, but all you're doing is returning what's been given. You've done nothing with what I gave you. Now I'm going to strip from what you have. I'm going to take everything from you, and I'm going to give it to somebody else that's going to do something with it, because your viewpoint of me. The Father judged the servant based on his viewpoint of him. So A.W. Tozer said, one of the most important things you'll ever do is to think rightly about God. If you don't think rightly about the good Father in heaven, all of your decisions get bent, skewed, and they get in this presupposition of your thought pattern that religion has put on you of what the Father, well, if I do that and it doesn't work out, then God's going to judge me. He's going to do this. No. The Master has authorized you to do business as him. So you need to trust that everywhere I put my foot, he's going to deliver that into my hand. Everything I set my hand to, the Master's hand is on top of mine, and I'm doing business as him. He is going to multiply me in all of my ways. How do I ensure this in my life? I remain upright, and I trust in Psalm 84:11. No good thing does he withhold from them that walk upright. If God did not withhold his only son, his most prized gift from you, he will not withhold any other good thing from you. He's not going to give you something that's going to destroy you. Based on your ability, he's gracing your life to manage certain things. And how you manage those certain things will determine if he increases your management load of what else that he has for you to manage in life. Are you following me? What time is it? 7:30. We have another hour. So. p.m. I need to drink to 7:30. I'm almost to 7 p.m. there. All right. So he immediately went out, and he began to multiply. Okay? He immediately went out and began to multiply. Remember this key in all that you do. Give, it's going to be given back to you. You want lavish favor on your life? Be a giver. There are some people, I don't understand this. I have no grid for the one that comes to services. I'm not talking about just kingdom culture. I have no grid for the people that are in the kingdom that know about tithing and they don't do it. Like I got no grid for that. And very little empathy for what happens to those people. Why? Because I'm giving I got to be careful with my words here, but I'm putting this tool in your hand. Look, friend, if God, what do you need? If God were to show up in here tonight and you begin to supernaturally see handwriting on the wall and God said, go buy this tomorrow, would you do it? If God said, hey, I'm if Jesus showed up, and an angel came too, just bearing witness here. If angel came like it did to Mary and began to write on the wall here and said, hey, I want you to buy this because I'm going to multiply it 100-fold over the next 12 months. You are a fool if you don't do it. Why? He just stamped the guarantee. I'm going to multiply this. You're a fool if you're disobedient to that. How much, man? Like, what do you need in your to grasp this? That God is going to pour out things from the windows of heaven. Well, Josh, I got bills to pay. I don't know what to, I mean, you can celebrate with me now, or you can believe me after I arrive there. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. You can join the bandwagon and say, I'm going to do this. It is a practice discipline in your life that when you start doing it, make it. I'm not saying to do it just that it's just a habitual thing that it is. Listen, God is not mafia. Okay? You pay your tithe. Actually, you can't actually pay tithe. You can only you can give offerings. You can't actually pay tithe because tithe actually already belongs to him. You can only return the tithe to where it belongs. You can't pay it, but you can give. But you can give offering. Anyways, but God's like in the world that my father grew up in. Like, God was mafia. You didn't pay your tithe, he comes to collect. Okay, and so listen, that's not the good Father in heaven. He wants to bless you, but he's given you these principles to bless you. Why? If God's given you the answers to the test, then why are you not taking the answers? I have no grid for that. So that's what I'm saying. I have no grid for people that say that know that there's no way that you know this works and then you don't do it. I have zero grid for it. So I'm talking to people in the room, online, whatever. I don't know. I don't want somebody accuse me of being mean. I have no idea. I have no grid for God. I want God to financially bless me. Well, have you been paying your tithe? No. Well, sorry. I don't know. You're wanting me to lay my hand on you and go against the command of God that you're cursed. I can tell you, pay your tithe, return your tithe rather, begin to give an offering, open up heaven and step out of the curse and into the blessing and let favor start dripping off of your life. Yeah. Okay, let's do this. Malachi 3, 10 and 11. I'm going to give you this. I quoted it a little bit earlier. Bring ye the tithe into the storehouse. This is King James vernacular. Bring the tithe into the storehouse, that there may be meat in mine house. And prove me now herewith, saith the Lord of hosts, if I will not open for you the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing, that there shall not be room enough to receive it. Verse 11. And watch what he does. He throws the cherry on top of the sundae here. Not only am I going to open windows of heaven and pour things out that you don't have room enough to even receive. I'm giving you more than you can even contain because you are faithful with giving. But watch what he does in 11. And I will rebuke the devourer for your sake, and he shall not destroy the fruits of your ground. Fruits, plural. Neither shall your vine cast her fruit before the time in the field, saith the Lord of hosts. All the nations will call you blessed, and you shall be a delightsome land, says the Lord of hosts. Okay? So, I'm going to bind the devourer, not let him destroy the fruits of your ground, and neither will your vine cast her fruit before the time in the field. That sounds like a negative statement, but it's not. What he's saying is that word fruit is a real interesting Hebrew word that I'm not going to try to pronounce, but it's a Hebrew word which means to miscarry or suffer abortion, or by analogy to bereave something. So I want to help you right here. So he's saying that I'm not going to let your vine become aborted. I'm not going to let your vine miscarry a seed. I'm not going to let your vine suffer any bereavement, but I'm going to bind the devourer and tell you that your vine is destined to produce what you've sown in the ground. And believing for that, he is saying that I'm going to make sure that this is accomplished in your life. Okay, so I've said it like this. Some people are like, Josh, I've been tithing and I just don't see that it's working. And maybe nobody's really saying it. I'm making up hypothetical scenarios in my mind. But somebody is, maybe there's that person out there that sees this 10 years from now or 1 year from now or watching online now. I don't know. And you're like, I've been doing this and it doesn't work. This is something I know. I don't have actual research on this, but this is something that I know. I bet that we can find over 100,000 people that are saying they're in the kingdom and they're saying that I tithed and it didn't work. Well, how long have you been doing it? I've been doing it for 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. Give it time. It will always work. To quote Denzel Washington, use it like Novocaine. Give it time. It always works. Okay? Give it time. It always works. 100% of the time, it works every time. This works. This is what I'm also persuaded of, 100% persuaded of this. I can't find one person out of 6 billion people on the planet that says, I've been tithing and giving my entire life, and it doesn't work. I'm 100% persuaded that person does not exist in the earth, nor have they ever existed. You know why? Because God's not a liar. The person that says, I tried it for 3 months, 6 months, I'm telling you that person exists by the handfuls. I tried it for 3 months and it didn't work. I tried it for 3 weeks and it didn't work. Friend, keep planting seeds so long as the earth remains. Seed, time, and harvest. There's going to be a period of time between the seed and the harvest. So quit telling me you tried something for 3 months and it didn't work, but just suck it up and keep doing it and know that I don't know when this will grind, but it will grind. This thing works. All right? The seed works. The seed works. So going deeper in lavished favor. I'm going to try to hurry on. Are y'all doing okay? Are you picking up what I'm laying down? Is it all right? Is it too much? Too much? Like too much to handle. TMTH. He's not going to let your vine be aborted. Miscarry. It's 100% destined that it's going to produce this fruit. Keep doing it. This works. Now, as somebody that's been tithing for longer than 17 years, but decided to be a giver for 17 years, there's something that has stuck with me, and I never will forget this. A spiritual father in my life said these words to me. He said these words to me. He made this statement. He said, a lifetime of labor is worth 1 day of favor with the king. All right, so fast forward to something here. I'm going to tell you some giving stories, all right? Giving stories. And in the fall of 2007, I go to this church out in what used to be a cow pasture, but is now called Harvest Assembly. And they have camp meeting in the fall of the year. And I go to this camp meeting in the fall of the year, and I was in that service. And while I was sitting in that service on the left side, they had green chairs at the time. And while I'm sitting there was a pastor from Lamarck, Texas. His name was Walter Hallam, and he was talking about finances, and he's talking about giving, he's talking about money. And the Lord began to stir in my heart, and he said, give it all. And I was like, okay, all right. Let's do that. And I didn't have a whole lot of money at the time, but I had $500. And so I gave $500 that night. That's what I did. I go back the next night, and go back the next night. And when I get there the next night, there's a different speaker speaking, and the Lord said, I want you to give $100. I want you to give again. And I was like, I don't have any. I have nothing to give. I don't have any money to give. And so I put $100 on a credit card. It's just, I know that's taboo words here, right? But maybe God was prompting me. Whatever. I don't know. I felt like I needed to give, so I went back the next night, gave $100 that I for sure didn't have because I gave the only $500 that I had the night before. I get home that night. I got home from the camp. I was living in Clinton, Arkansas at the time. It was about a 2-hour drive, and I get home that night, and God said, "I want you to give it all." And I said, "Dude," I was like, "Man, what are you talking about?" I said, not only did I give it all, but I actually gave $100 extra that I didn't even have to give. Like I didn't have it to give. And it reminded me of a piggy bank that I had in my room. And I went and I pulled $88 in change out of that piggy bank. And I stuck it in the youth group that I was a youth pastor at the time. And I stuck it in that youth group in the youth fund. And so I literally gave it all. Had a car payment that was due on Monday. Okay. So I know you're wanting to hear some story about how a raven showed up, or some lady showed up, knocked on my door, and she came from Africa and arrived at my door at 1 a.m. to give me the money to pay for that car payment, but that did not happen. I was late on the car payment. But I did not miss it, but I was late. I didn't understand, like, God, why am I late on this? Because I gave everything I had the week before. But it was amazing because I wasn't setting up money that I could pay my bills, even though I expected to pay my bills. I was late on it, but I did not miss it, and I made that payment, but I was late on it. And so what was super interesting is in 2009, I became the youth pastor and went on full-time staff at the church, Harvest Assembly. 2 years prior, I was sitting in a camp meeting that they were hosting, and I gave everything I had. 2 years after that, they put me on full-time staff. I was there for the better part of a decade. I was on full-time staff for about 8 years. They paid me so much more than the $500 that I put in that offering. Oddly enough, that the $500 that I sowed at that time, which was everything, actually became my full-time salary for a youth pastor at the $500 a week. So just Salah. Anyways, seeing God do those types of blessings in my life, you have no idea the seed that you're sowing now, what it's producing in your future. Remember this and never forget it. Never forget this. No seed ever leaves my life, but it leaves my hand to go into my future where it multiplies, and I'm going to stay the course to pick it up when it comes up. Okay? Maybe that was a lot to remember, but don't forget it. Don't forget it. Don't forget that. And hear this. A lifetime of labor is worth 1 day of favor. Okay? So here I am, working the field, tilling the ground, being faithful, seemingly in the middle of nowhere. I felt like I had a word I could preach. Began to prophesy, God training me. Literally, like, God, you are hiding me in a hayfield that Kenzie's grandfather owns. You're hiding me in this hayfield. Like what are you doing? We are seemingly in the middle of nowhere. I felt so at times you might have felt hidden, but God was blessing it. Just phenomenal relationships that he was building and things that he was teaching me and had me under. That Pastor Todd was my senior pastor in 2010. He started preaching on the kingdom and it changed my life. I received a seed then that I just kept stewarding and kept stewarding and kept stewarding. And then Randy Caldwell would come by and he'd breathe on it, and somebody did, and Bobby Connor would come by, and Luke Holter would come by, and Ivan Tate would come by, and Bishop Ronnie Webb would come by, and different ones would come by, and they would speak something over my life, or they would speak something, and I would latch onto it, and it was just marrying the seeds that were already germinating on the inside of me, and I was there to receive a seed. I was there, and I was a giver. I already had that. I was already doing that. I was a giver, and I was doing this. I was going after it. I was given more than I'd ever given in my life at different moments. I continued to set goals of increase and believing for things to increase, and I was seeing things increase. And then I started, while I was there, started getting into the stock market some and started trading things and different. And at the very beginning, even lost some money in some stuff and didn't really know what I was doing, but started trying to increase my knowledge in that because I seen it working for some other people, and I knew He gives me favor. This thing can work for me too, and started seeing things like that working there. Let's see, in 20, I resigned there in 20. So about 2013. In 2013, might have been 14. We were going on television network in seemingly the middle of nowhere, but God had put it on Pastor Todd's heart to start recording things and putting them on TV. Well, television time is not free, and it's very expensive, and it's like this is going to take, we're not even, it's just 30-minute episode a week here, 30-minute episode a week there. It looks like it's going to end up like $60,000 a year, and you're not on prime time or anything like that. You're not on NBC, by the way. You're on CTN, and you're on Fox out of Springfield, Missouri, and stuff like that. And so getting that television time was very expensive. I said, God, how are we going to do this? And God said, I'm going to bring you a business. He said, I'm going to bring you a business to the church, and when I do, don't turn your nose at it. With less than 2 weeks from God speaking that to Pastor Todd, there was this transportation business that got dropped in our lap at Harvest Assembly. And we didn't know what it was and what kind of animal we were dealing with here, and so they started running trips. started running trips, and it started paying for ministries at the church, okay? I was believing for increase in my own life. Here I am, probably about 5 years in at that point. And when it came time for me to leave Harvest, I wasn't really much part of the transportation. I knew about it. They had the same office on the hallway of my office, and I'd heard about it. And I seen a lot of ins and outs, seen a lot of ups and downs on it, and there was mistakes made and great successes made and all that kind of stuff. And I seen a lot about it. And when I was leaving there, because when you're faithful with a little, God makes you ruler over much. A lifetime of labor is worth one day of favor. In seemingly the middle of nowhere, feeling like at times that I was this hidden, but I was receiving seeds. And when it came time to leave there, I was leaving a full-time salary behind, and I was coming to launch a church for the lofty salary of $0. And so when doing that, I went to Pastor Todd. I said, hey, if I buy the vans and I pay the insurance, and I hire the people, everything, I'm trying to eliminate any work on that side. Will you let me start a route, and start running it? I don't know what this is going to look like, but will you let me do this? Listen, I didn't wake up. Remember, Bolo, be on the lookout. I didn't wake up with a dream, oh God, give me a transportation business. In fact, I don't know if anybody that ever starts a transportation business had an original dream of starting a transportation business. And maybe they did. I don't know. But it's not like, that was real glamorous or whatever. But they gave me the favor. They did it as a favor to me. And for a year, I operated under their umbrella as my own business. I did my own thing and basically just sent them the invoice of what I ran. And then they wrote me that they didn't make any money off me. And for a year. Then after a year, we started expanding. And I stepped out and I became Provisions Transport. And we became our own business. Sometimes maybe it felt like, God, what am I doing here? I feel like maybe there's this or what, there may be moments where it felt like, I knew I wasn't going to be their youth pastor forever. But I was enjoying the seeds I was getting there. I was enjoying speaking into people's life and seeing the harvest of that even still. And so while I was there, faithful with the little, he makes you ruler of much. A lifetime of labor is worth one day of favor. And they dropped this print transportation business in my lap as it was dropped in theirs. And it became a huge financial blessing at some point. I started doing that in 2017. I was like, you know what? It's not going to take me a whole lot of income to match what I was already getting. Not that they did. I'm not saying it wasn't going to take I didn't have some kind of huge salary that I needed to match. And then I said, I think this will work, and we can at least make what we're making, and go and launch this church. And I started doing this in July of 2017. Within a month, I was ready to buy another van and get another driver, and I started running that, and then there's been a lot of ebbs and flows and ups and downs, and there's even been moments where I was only making. There were moments that I only made like $500 a week at it, and I was like, you know what? I'm not driving at all. And all I'm doing is managing it. Is my time at this point, is my time worth the $500 a week? I can probably go find a lot of other things, to do and get that kind of money. And so there was times where I thought, should I hang it up? And then I started. Then God would speak again, and He actually at one point He started saying tithe. I felt Him directing me to tithe out of my business before I paid anybody. Before I paid anybody, whatever I would get paid. On the invoice, I'd get like weekly statements basically, and I'd get paid like every Friday. Whatever that number is, that's the number that I'm giving off of. Well, there's tens of thousands of dollars that have to go out to cover to do what we do, but I began to give off of what my business was doing in. I'm not saying everybody else is supposed to do that or set up. I'm telling you what God was doing. And then my trips started just exploding. They just started exploding. And then 2019 was in 2019. 2020, greatest financial year I ever had. 2021, greatest financial year I ever had. Like, oh, that's so good for you, Josh. I'm so proud of you. Listen, friend, 17 years ago, I made a series of decisions that turned rudders in my life. Let me help you turn the rudder of giving in your life and see what he'll do. There's no telling what he's going to do in me in the next 10 years because I'm already 17 years in doing this, being faithful, tilling this thing. And then even when I thought that I was hidden, you're here, and I received some huge seeds about the kingdom, and I left there with a business when I could have potentially just left there not with nothing, but having coming for the lofty salary of zero to launch this church, and they don't pay me zero, by the way, on camera anymore. No, I get way more than zero now. But when we launched it, didn't know what it was, but it was like, God, what are you going to do here? What do you I believe you're going to bless this, and then doing that, and the business was to the point where it's just making money, and it becomes more of a well-oiled machine to the point where I'm at now. It took 4.5 years, but now I don't even really go. I used to, what I did when I first started the business? In the first 8 months, I got in the van and I drove 42,000 miles in the first 8 months. It's like, crap. I can't. And then I started thinking, I told my wife, I said, I can't do this if I'm going to launch a church at this particular pace. And so it was like, okay, I can't do this. So hey, God, how are you going to mold this? And now here I am 4.5 years in. I hardly ever go out and drive. It's more managing the routes. There's still a lot to do in managing the routes, but now I have 4 vans in multiple places, and God's grown it, and it's doing it. And I don't know what 2022 is going to look like, but in 2020, greatest financial year, 21, greatest financial year. So I'm just going to go out on a limb, say 22 is going to be the greatest financial year of my life, because that's what I've seen in kingdom culture, and that's what I've seen in my business, and that's what I've seen in my life. I can tell you almost every ministry stop that I've been at. Every ministry stop that I've been at, I've seen them multiply financially. I can't tell you that I was always in a place where I watched it just explode numerically with people, but I can tell you every ministry stop that I stopped at, I saw them multiply financially. I don't know what all that means, but I'm going to say there's some kind of financial anointing on my life, and if you will hear me out and you will listen to this, I'm telling you this works for me, and it will work for you. You don't have to start a transportation business. You don't have to start a hair salon or a nail care company. I don't need you might not even need to start anything. You might just need to be on the lookout for how God is wanting to bless you. Be on the lookout for how God's wanting to bless you. All right. I wanted to give you some positions, and I'm going to quit. 7:53. I said I was going to open it up for Q&A. I guess. I wanted to give you some of these. Man, where's the time gone? Y'all probably don't feel the same way. Look at my wife back there. She feels the same way. Where's the time gone? It's gone so fast. Yeah. All right. Let's do this. Do y'all have any questions or anything? Like I know, like last week it was more interview style, but I'm not going to interview myself. So, do y'all have any questions or any curiosities or anything that maybe I can, last week we had a lot. We talked for about 45 minutes on that. I'm not really looking to do that again tonight, talk for 45 minutes, but I do want to answer some questions. And I'd like to even tell you some things about the market that I want to I don't want to just tell you to go multiply. I actually want to tell you some of the things that I'm doing and even current positions that I actually have. And what, I want to tell you, hey, I bought this at this price, I sold it at this price, or I still own it at this price, whatever it is. And I'd like to help you not that any of you need to go buy stock tomorrow. I'm not telling anybody to do that. I'm not telling you to go buy anything. I am telling you what's been working for me. Okay? You got a question? Go for it. Okay. I'm going to have to repeat the gist of what you just asked because the people on camera on the recording aren't going to hear that. The question was asked, when flipping, buying and selling products, is there any specific product or website to stay away from that could potentially be a pitfall or something like that? What do you like to buy and sell on or trade on or whatever? Did I get the synopsis of that at least? Okay. My whatever, advice to that is, stay with what works. And when I say that, that sounds really vague. If I'm buying and selling, I want to be on Amazon or eBay. I don't want to be on some website that 7 people in their mom's basement heard of. I need to move product. Everybody knows what Amazon and eBay is. Everybody. So I'm going to stay there. There's going to be fees for that. Anybody can become a seller on Amazon. I've sold things on Amazon. You can become a seller on Amazon. It takes a little bit of time, and there's process to it to becoming a seller on Amazon, but you can do it. eBay's even easier than Amazon to become a seller on, and then doing that. And so products to stay away from are looking before you buy a product. You have a computer in your hand that you can go on there. If I'm going to buy, before I'm buying something, I want to look on eBay, what's it listing for? Or maybe even you can even find out better than that, what's it selling for? They're listing it for $26, but it looks like most people are selling it for $23. Well, I can buy it here, and keep in mind your shipping. Avoid the shipping pitfall, okay? And here, the shipping pitfall is you going to the post office and trying to do it yourself, because you'll always pay more than eBay charges for shipping. Okay, so what you need to do is print all your labels on Amazon or eBay. You actually print your labels through. If you sell it on Amazon, print the shipping label through Amazon, and then because they got a deal worked out with FedEx or whoever, and then you get a cheaper shipping rate. So because if you don't do that, then eBay's going to charge them $6 for shipping, and then you're going to go to the post office and find that it cost you $8.50, and you just lost $2.50 per item. So, but being on, if you go through their website, that'll help you. Even the Facebook Marketplace now, that's a good spot. Facebook Marketplace now, you can print shipping labels through the Facebook Marketplace cheaper than you can go to the post office and do that. Does that help? So I didn't give you a specific product. I'm saying stay away from things. Find your, like, what is, even if it's not your niche, start with your niche. Like, what do I know? Like you don't want to tell, like, somebody that's a video gamer, start there. Somebody I love shoes, I'm going to start there. I like clothes, fashion, whatever it is, I'm going to start there. Don't, oh, I really like clothes. Well, then I'm going to start moving, quarts of oil. Well, that you're probably going to fail because you don't know what you're doing. Like what? So you got to know what you're doing, because hey, I can go to O'Reilly's and I can buy it for $7 a quart. Okay, so whatever. All right, and if I can buy it for $7 a quart and then sell it for $10 a quart, there might not be enough. There not be enough POI, profit on investment, profit on return, whatever, however you want to say that. There needs to be enough markup in it. I need to find what can I buy for this price that I can sell for that price and be good with it, and then start doing that. And that's how it starts. It starts and it becomes a snowball to eventually where I'm no longer messing with these knickknacks and Apple Jacks, but I'm going to go like that. Hey, I just generated an extra $1,000 a year just buying junk and letting my junk become somebody else's junk, and doing that. You don't even have to go to Walmart and pull it off the shelf. You can actually do Some people go like yard selling or pawn shopping, whatever, and you can find stuff that you can sell online. Most likely not at a pawn shop, but you can find stuff at a flea market or something like that where you could buy it and then you could move it. You could move it and you could sell it. Walmart has less risk on it though, because if you don't open it, you can always take it back and get your money back. Especially Black Friday is like the shopping dream here. If you will go wait in the line and they got whatever it is, $100 off iPads. Okay, give me 15 of them because I'm fixing to go make $80 profit per iPad. And if you want to take the time to do that, then you can actually pay for your own Christmas doing that, by the way. You're like, oh man, how are we going to pay for Christmas? Well, first of all, Christmas comes December the 25th, every year for the next remaining days, okay? It comes December the 25th. So it's not, oh man, Christmas snuck up on me. No, friend. We're in January and I'm letting you know now. It's coming. December the 25th. I don't know how I'm going to pay for Christmas. Well, wait, Black Friday, go out and do things. I've done that with games and different things like that, where they'll run special Black Friday deals on things. Grab that thing, but make sure you get it back within 14 days or whatever it is. But even now, Best Buy, if anything you bought after October 31st, you get till like January 25th to take it back. Anything that you bought at Target, you get like till March to take it back or something like that. So make sure you don't get stuck holding the bag. If I buy something and I could not move it, because you can keep listing something on eBay. If I buy something and I can't move it, then I can just take it back and get my money back because I did not open it. Yeah? Okay. Any more questions or wonderings? Can you look online? I don't know if maybe online somebody has a question. I don't know. Is anybody even watching online? Did you look back there? Oh, there are people watching online. Okay. Well, if there's any questions online, they can if you got a question online, just type it in this is just in the Kingdom Culture group anyway. And so, I'll try to speak into that somewhat. Anybody else in here got a question? Sowing seeds. So the question was asked. It was interesting, or the statement was made, rather. It was interesting how the church that you gave it all at a church, and then 2 years later, you got a job employed at the church that you gave it all. That is a very unique situation that happened that way. I'm not saying it won't happen that way for anybody else, but there is a principle here, and it is sowing into what you're believing for. Okay? It's naming your seed. You can put in an offering bucket here. You can put in a seed tonight and put on there, pray over it. I'm needing a vehicle. God, I'm believing for a vehicle, and you sow a seed for a vehicle. And I'm going to sow $20 for a $200,000, whatever, sports car. Mercedes Maybach. Yeah. Okay, so $20 probably isn't going to happen that way. All right? So what is the seed relevant to the thing I'm asking for? So for example, just using math here. If I'm needing a $2,000 vehicle, then a $200 seed would seem appropriate because the thing I have in my hand isn't big enough to meet my need, so I made the thing in my hand my seed. So do you want a business? Sow into somebody's business. Do you want to so when sowing a seed into things, I think my dad, when he sowed into somebody's food bank before or something like that, and then God gave him started a food bank, or you sowed the things that you sow into, because you reap what you sow, and the things that what you're sowing into. And I've even heard it said like this: you want God to grow your ministry, then help grow another person's ministry. How do I do that? Financially, I honor them. I give into them, and do that. And then even I do want to point out that people, which maybe I should make this more open and clear, but when for example, people that give into kingdom culture. Let me do it this way. People that give into kingdom culture. Last year, and I don't have an exact number, but roughly 25 to $28,000 left this place and went around the world somewhere. Some of it went into people that live in our neck of the woods, and some of it went to ministries in other places that are doing things for the kingdom. Trust that your seed is going somewhere. Whereas, okay, I want to sow into a business. Well, I don't want to just sow into, I don't want to sow into El Chapo's, drug lording ring, okay, because I'm believing for God to grow my business, and that guy doesn't even pay taxes, so whatever. Anyways, that's what I'm saying. Like I don't want to sow into a drug cartel because it seems to be a really profitable business, and I want that to happen for me. But I'm saying the principle is there to let me sow into somebody's business because I'm wanting God to bless my business, or even. And there's sowing financially is one of the key things in doing that. But there's other, there's things that there's other ways in kindness. Sowing in kindness grants you favor to people that you didn't like. Oh, I was hanging out with this person and now I haven't seen them in 10 years. And before you know it, they're owning some Fortune 500 company somewhere, and they offered you a job because they remembered you from 10 years ago and what you were like. And like, hey, I want that person to work for me. So there's all kinds of ways to sow seeds, but financially is one of the biggest ways that you can sow seeds, and growing something and sowing something in somebody else in somebody else's life. So yeah, and seeing that and knowing even the seeds that. So when we have a speaker that comes in here, even if somebody didn't give in the offering, we usually have an opportunity to give in an offering to go into that speaker. But whether you do or you don't sow in that particular offering, I'm writing them a check for greater than whatever came in that offering. And the seeds that you've sown in previous months have been a part of that. Anything that kingdom culture does or influences or makes any impact around the world, if you ever was a consistent giver at kingdom culture, then you were affecting all of that. If that makes sense. That's a point. The statement was made, letting what other people are saying determine things. Let me give you Matthew says it in Matthew. He says it like this: Jesus said, "Who do people say that I am?" Peter said, they started saying. They said this: "Some say you're Jeremiah, you're one of the prophets." And then Jesus got to the root of it and said, "But who do you say that I am?" What some say will only affect you if you let it, but what you say will make all the difference in the world. And what you have to determine is that I may be your pastor, but I do have say in your blessing, but I don't determine how blessed you are. You do. Nobody in this room. Now, I mean, don't get me wrong. Somebody could give me $1 million next week, and it would just impress the crap out of me. Just like this. Oh, wow, that's absolutely amazing. That would impress me. But even whether anybody did that or not, nobody else in the world gets to determine my blessing. Only I get to determine my blessing, and I determine my blessing by my faithfulness to that. So what they say, what anybody else says, doesn't get to determine how blessed that I get to be. It's always based on how faithful was I with what God gave me. Absolutely. Absolutely. Awesome. Praise God. Any more questions? Was there any questions? Tasha, you got it? Nothing? All right, good. Good deal. I guess that's good. I don't know. Do y'all have any other questions? We good? All right. Let's let me give you one more tool. It's 8:11. You want me to give them one more tool or be done? I'll let Tasha make that call back there. Okay. All right, then I guess I'll do it for her. I guess I'll give you one more tool. Let me do this. In something that has been, especially lately, not so much like 10 years ago, 12 years ago when I started doing it, but lately has become a snowballing stream of revenue for me, and that's buying and selling stocks. Okay? Now listen, I'm not teaching you how to read charts. I don't even know. I can see the charts and see things, but this isn't chart class. You want chart class, they have good sources online so that you can see charts and do that type of thing. And you can learn a lot about it. But I just want to tell you some things, okay? I want to tell you some things. Identifying patterns has been huge for me, okay? And I bought this stock one time called Zion Oil one time. And I bought it like at $3 a share. And it went up to like $3.20 a share. And then it just went like down to $1.50, $1.80. Like I held it for like 5 years. And like I didn't sell it. Because see, in stock market, you only actually make money or lose money if you sell the thing that you're in possession of. And so I held this thing for like 5 years, and then finally traction started happening, and it went from like $3 to $6 or $7, and I didn't sell it, but I held it, and then it started dropping back down. I think I sold it at like $5 or something. And then it really plummeted, and it went down to like 50 cents. And in 2019, they changed their symbol and stuff like that, but I bought this Zion Oil stock in 2019 for 50 cents a share. And then in 2020, I don't know what month I bought it in 2019, but I bought it for like 50 cents a share. In 2020, I had held it over a year, and I sold it. It looks like I sold some for $1.12 a share and some others for 92 cents a share, which doesn't sound like very much a share, but when you bought it at 50 cents, that's like double your money. Okay? So I'm telling you this, and the reason why I'm telling you this, not because I'm not telling anybody to go buy any of these stocks. Just hear me out. That's the disclaimer. I'm just giving you another tool that's been working for me. Stock market does not, you are clicking a button to buy and clicking a button to sell. You are not clocking in anywhere. It has the ability. Do you need to quit your day job and start doing this? No, well, no, because you're going to have to make money at this every day. So some of the greatest things that, I want to start a business. Let me help you with that. Don't quit your day job. Start the business as a side gig and let the side gig overtake the day job to the point where you can put your 2 weeks notice in, because that thing is paying you more and it could really explode into even more. But there might be limitations on that. And you're like, I don't ever want that to overtake my day job. I'm going to keep my day job and just keep this as a side hustle where I'm not having to put in 30 hours a week to do it. It's just almost like a hobby of something I like to do. That's what stocks are to me. I don't have to put in hours of work to do this. I'm clicking buttons and making money. Okay? So In 2019, I bought it 50 cents. In 2020, I sell it, and that's 50 cents-ish. Some of those numbers aren't exact. But I did exactly sell it for $1.12 on December 3rd, 2020. And then I sold some more shares of it, the rest of my shares of it, for 92 cents on December 16th. Apparently, I was selling at $1.12 to pull out all my vested money. And then I was hoping it'd go up, and it didn't go up, and it went down. And I just took out all the profits from that point and made 42 cents profit per share at that point. Okay. In 2020, the pandemic hit and the market really pulled back. Okay. Presented a lot of opportunity to buy things that I did in that particular moment. I bought a stock called JP Morgan Chase, little friendly neighborhood company called Chase. And anyways, I bought them, and we bought them at $91 a share. Okay. Bought them at $91 a share. And then in 2020, in the spring of 2020, maybe June-ish, something like that, bought it at $91 a share. In the summer 2021, we held it just over a year and sold it for roughly $171 a share. There's just like, hey, there was this bubble there, and seeing, hey, there's a lot of things that are undervalued here. Things that are on sale. And I'll even give you these symbols if you can go look this. You don't even have to take my word for it. I'm telling you that to tell you to show you favor and things that have happened. Things that I currently hold. I bought Apple, that make iPhones and stuff, little company called Apple. In 2020, I bought them for around $126-ish per share. The current price at closing today was $175.53. I still own that one. I could sell it and have money on it, but it's also one of those things that I wish I would have bought for $8 a share in 1998, so that we wouldn't have to worry about buildings and things like that. We just go buy whatever we wanted to buy. Seeing that. There's another one that I've flipped several times, and I'm telling you these things, and I'll go into more detail maybe in another night or whatever. But those are some of like success things that I've done. That Zion Oil one in 2021 at the end of October, it went all the way down to 15 cents. Actually, it went down to 11 cents. I bought it at 15 cents in October of 2021. I sold it in December, like a little over a month ago. I sold it for 28 cents. Identifying a pattern. Watching it for long enough that I stared at it long enough to see some things that it was doing. And I sold it at 28 cents. Well, guess what? I bought another big batch of it today at 15 cents. Okay? Like today. I literally bought a stock today at 15 cents. Where's it going to go? I don't know. Could go up to 60 cents. I think it can go up to $1. Am I going to hold it to $1? Maybe some of it. I don't know. Probably going to be, sometimes I get a little too antsy and wanting to sell things because I've doubled my money, and because doubling your money is really good. So doing that, buying that and doing that. So how does all this come into effect? Okay, let me give you this. All right, in 2020. When the pandemic was hitting, and I started taking classes and things like that, not like stock classes. I was taking like spiritual classes and things, and doing and learning some things. And I started coming across the 7 spirits of Yahweh, 7 spirits of God. And I started really trying to engage with the 7 spirits of God. And then I started coming, and I'm giving you a huge nutshell here of something. And I started trying to encounter this and engage this in my living room. And then I started coming into the revelation of something called the trading eye, the trading floor of heaven, the trading eye of God, where things shift and move, like world markets and things like that you can see things that are happening in the future from fixed positions. And so I'm just saying. And so I started hearing about this. I started trying to engage with this. I don't really know what I was doing and trying to engage with this. Anyways, I started trying to engage with the trading eye of God, with the trading floor of heaven, with the 7 spirits of Yahweh. And while doing so, I start going to bed at night, and I start having dreams about stock symbols. So it was really interesting. I have a dream about this one stock called U.S. Bank Corp. And I have a dream about the stock, and then in my dream, There are people like, oh, I'm going to stay away from that. It's going to go. Some people in dreams are like, no, it's going to go bankrupt. And I told them, no, that's not going bankrupt. In my dream, I'm telling them that. I said, Warren Buffett just bought a bunch of that. And I was telling them in my dream. And I said, that thing's going to go up. And I watched it. And it was at $32 a share when I had that dream. And so now the time is ticking. God, are you wanting me to observe this? What are you showing me? What are you going to do? And I watched it go from $32 down to $28 a share. And then it went from $28 a share to $60 a share over the next year. Well, wish I would have put whatever. I actually just wish I would have put all the money in there besides the money I needed to operate, because that was going to double whatever I put in there. Okay? Had a dream about Tesla. I had a dream about different things. And then I had several dreams about stocks, and I saw them go up, and I saw them fluctuate, and I saw them do things, and the Lord started showing me patterns and things, and it's like, well, that's it's a market, whatever. There's patterns and things, and I'm not telling you that I'm an expert on it. I'm not telling you that I know exactly what I'm doing, but I am telling you that it has the potential. If you can start with $500, you can start with whatever you can start with. Like, I'm going to start with this, and then it has the potential to, and it's really hard to snowball $500 into $5 million. Very, very difficult to do. But if you start with $500, it might eventually become $2,000, and then now you're not buying $500 of a company, you're buying $2,000 of a company, $2,000 worth of shares, and then that thing can snowball. It may take a decade for that to happen, but eventually your snowball gets big enough where you can really start making some influential moves by saying, hey, now I can put in 5,000, 10,000, 50,000, 100,000, whatever it is, whatever that number is, that it snowballed so much that I can start doing that, because the principle is there. I bought it at 15 cents and I sold it at 28 cents. Guess what? If I would have put in $500,000, then we would be dancing, okay? Because I would have made nearly $500,000 in a single month of trading. I didn't put $500,000 in there, but I'm just saying, if that was the case, the principle is there. Hey, I'm doubling my money all the way down to, I bought something at Walmart and I bought it for $11 and I sold it for $60. It's the same concept and the same principle. Be on the lookout for how God wants to flood blessing and favor into your life, and be on the lookout for it and watch what he's doing. And then when you start seeing a pattern in something, whatever that you know about, he's graced you with something in your life that you might know about more than other people know about. And watch for a pattern. Everything has a market. Everything has a market. This cup has a market. Okay? Whatever. Especially now, what was hard? Hand sanitizer, toilet paper, hard to get items. People started, I'm not telling you that that's what you need. I'm saying everything has a market. Supply and demand creates a market on everything. So watching, what do I know? Now I'm going to watch the market on that long enough where I can start making educated decisions based on the favor of God in my life, that I've seen this pattern enough that I'm going to pull the trigger, because I pull the trigger on things right now that would have freaked me out in 2015 to pull the trigger on, all because the favor had increased, the growth had increased, the finance had increased, and I'd seen the pattern long enough to identify this thing dips and I'm going to flip it. I'm going to do this. This is what I'm going to do. I've missed out on some things. I've bought some things. There's times I've made some other decisions that I was like, man, I wish I had that one to do over again. It's okay. Trust that he's going to bless you in what you do. Trust that he's going to bless you in what you do. Like he said to Joshua, wherever you plant your foot, wherever you plant, no. Wherever you're obedient to plant your foot, that I tell you to plant your foot, absolutely. We have no trouble believing that. God told me to do this and it worked. Well, that's okay, Captain Obvious. Obviously, that's going to work because God told you to do it. But how about those things where God didn't tell you to plant your foot there, but you planted your foot there and trust in him that he ordained that step and he blessed it anyway? How deep will you let your trust go? The guys in the scripture multiplied because they went, not because they sat, but they went and they multiplied. Sometimes, listen, you're not ever going to have any more than you got right now if you don't go for something. You got to go for it sometime. I'm not telling you to go out tomorrow and make a dumb decision. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying trust God, watch the patterns in life, and see what happens, and trust God that I'm going to go for it, and he's going to bless that. All right? I'm gonna quit. I may take another night at another time, whatever. It may even be next week. I don't know. And obviously we're gonna be continuing down the business line. There's a couple more pieces to give. Anybody got another question or anything? And we're gonna shut her down. Good. All right, Father, I thank you, God, for what you've poured into my life. God, I don't know how much this, how it helps or what it helps or whatever. And Lord, maybe there's other questions that will arise out of this even in the future. But Lord, I thank you, God, for trusting me to sit right here at this time, God, and pour into other people's lives, God. God, people that are already blessed, God, just another avenue and another stream that can bring them blessing, God, and helping them to know, Lord, that what you're saying to me, to be on the lookout, always be on the lookout for ways that you're trying to bless me, Father, to keep my eyes open, not to close my eyes and pray, God, for you to send me a table when you have my eyes open and have identified that there's a tree standing right in front of me that will make a perfect table. So Lord, let me just start going for it, Lord. Let us just go for it in trust of what you're directing us to do and how you've led us and how you've directed our steps, and trusting where you've placed the compass in our heart and where it's pinging and where it's going. So Father, I just thank you for what you're doing. I speak an absolute blessing on them, exponential blessing on them, and what that they are doing, and show us how to direct them with even more wisdom than we ever have into equipping them to multiply. The demand on them is to multiply. So help us multiply. Help us identify ways to multiply, that we further the kingdom. God, this is all about, this isn't so we can park better cars in the driveway. God, give them better cars. Give them better homes. But God, this is furthering the kingdom. This is furthering the kingdom. God, we can't do the kingdom without the tool of money. You give us the tool of money to further your kingdom in the earth and do business until you come. We're here to occupy, Father. So give us ways to increase the tool of money, God. We can reach more people. We can rescue more people. We can accomplish more for the cause of Christ with money than we ever could without it. So Father, I thank you for blessing us with it to make a difference in the world, to release the hope of glory into the world. I thank you, God, for doing that. I pray your blessing on them. Amen.